members of Operation Dudula have staged 2 marches today against illegal foreign nationals who are accessing public health facilities. This is in Durban, and the group there accused the Human Rights Commission of fighting against South African citizens instead of putting them first. The organization has been illegally blocking the foreign nationals from accessing hospitals and clinics, saying South Africans should be given preference. Let's take a listen.
No, our march purposely, we demand the Human Rights Commissions to put South Africa first. As you know that Human Rights Commission, it's a form of the Constitution of Chapter 9. So in most instances where we see a Human Rights Commission, it's mostly favors or it's mostly stands for immigrants, and there are cases of South Africans which Human Rights Commission failing to stand for our people of South Africa. They, instead of standing for people of South Africa, they are standing for the foreign nationals. It's illegal or it's illegal. We see the cases, because this march, it's not only for KZN, it's also in Joburg. No, I'm failing to understand if they say what we are doing, it's not constitutional, because what we are doing, we are standing for our South African brothers and sisters, which is our government failed to apply this constitution that they are saying Tina Asil into as harming our constitution. Because if you are looking at the Immigration Act, it states that we have to put our South Africans first. And if we're looking at Immigration Act, it says if a foreign national comes to South Africa, they must have visa. And as we are talking also about this of blocking the clinics, and we are doing it under the Constitution. It's not that it's something that we just sleep and then we wake up in the morning and say, no, we are blocking these these illegal foreigners or foreigners.
Well, let's get more reaction on these ongoing protests now, and we speak to ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba, who previously raised concerns about undocumented migrants and their impact on the country's limited resources. Mr. Mashaba, good evening to you. Thank you for your time. Let me start the conversation with your understanding of why you think these marches against illegal foreign nationals are intensifying.
Well, Toli, and good evening first to your listeners and the viewers. Look, I think this is really something which has been in the making for a long of time. And I remember 1st of December 2016, when I became the mayor of the city of Johannesburg during my 100 days, I decided to really break our silence, because before then, any South Africans who raised the issue around illegal foreigners, one was forced to retract and apologize. And I decided I'm not going to apologize, because if we don't really stop this cancer, it's going to spread throughout the body, where one day all of us will die. And I can assure you, Toli, our people are reaching that stage, which is really very unfortunate, because I think for me, as someone who strongly believes in the rule of law, I find it really very difficult to really ask our people to say stop, because you have to just go into Alexander. I was there on Sunday, and I was saying to myself, where's the South African Human Rights Commission to really look at the living conditions of our people? You go into hospitals, you go into schools. We have no capacity on our own to take care of our people. As I'm talking to you right now, Colin, more than 50% of South Africans don't know where the next meal is going to come from. But we, as a country, we are saying we want to really be everything to the rest of the world. Unfortunately, the people who are the biggest victims of this are our poor South Africans who live in Alexander, live in Soweto. So it is for that reason, unfortunately, it's going to this whole thing is going to intensify unless we arrest it. And we arrest it now. It's not yet late, but I think South Africa needs to really embark on mass deportation of people who are in our country illegally.
Yeah. You say that you find it difficult to say to South Africans, stop. I take it then that ActionSA fully supports what is happening right now, and that is to block these illegal foreign nationals from accessing health care, even though the Constitution does allow.
No, absolutely not, Toli. If you actually followed what I've just really said to you, including at the time in 2016, when I raised this matter, when the ANC reported me to the South African Human Rights Commission, and fortunate enough, I had the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa and all the laws that obviously protected me on the basis of what I'm raising. What I'm actually saying to you right now, people are under real stress in the sense that our law enforcement agencies, our own government is actually not respecting the laws of our country. But at the same time, this constitution makes it really very difficult. It is for that reason where people are actually complaining, because if you look at the preamble of our constitution, which says South Africa belongs to all who live in it, and now you go to the Bill of Rights, where unfortunately the hospitals, the clinics and schools cannot deny anyone the right to that opportunity. I think we need to really revisit these issues. Otherwise, we're going to end up with the people taking the law into their own hands. And that's something that you and I need to really avoid, and ask our lawmakers to, as a matter of agency, really correct this weakness in our constitution. Whether they had good intentions or not when they accepted this part of the constitution, but at the end of the day, a constitution is a living document that can really be upgraded or be reviewed to really make sure that it must actually talk to the lived experience of South Africans. But right now, I can tell you right now, this preamble to say South Africa belongs to all who live in it, and including the Bill of Rights, they are not talking to the lived experiences of South Africans. It gives preference to people who are coming into our country illegally. And unfortunately, when they come into South Africa, they don't actually go into these gated communities. They go to Alexander, they go to Soweto, they go to Haramutsi village where I was born. And those are the people I'm talking about, that if we don't do anything about it, that we get our lawmakers to, as a matter of agency, address our constitutional framework to make sure that South Africa belongs to South Africans. Anyone coming into this country legally or otherwise, they must make sure that they have medical cover. South Africa cannot provide medical covers, free schooling, and all the other benefits to people who are in our country illegally, because people who are in our country illegally are criminals because they've broken the laws of our country.
Yeah. Here's a final question, Mr. Mashaba, because when you speak about this, oftentimes you say the failure here is by the authorities to manage our borders. And as we speak tonight, some 2 hours ago, News 24, publishing a story which carries the comments of the Border Management Authority head, Mike Masiapato, who is warning of, quote unquote, a national risk. And here is the reason why he's warning of this. He says the authority is grossly underfunded and understaffed. At the moment, they sit with 2,600 officers, I guess, on all our land borders. The total they need for the country's borders to be properly secured, it's 11,000, which means that they are short of 8,000 officers. Do you think that this is going to be solved anytime soon, the securing of our borders?
Well, I'm sure, Toli, you are aware about the budget debates, the division of the budgets over the last week or so. There's not a single department that is fully funded to ensure that they can address the issues of our country. Our budget right now, it's actually cut. I'm sure you follow closely better than I do because I'm most of the time out in the field. You as a journalist, you have the time to read newspapers and follow what's happening in the media. So we've got a huge challenge. It is for that reason ActionSA is saying, if we are unable to feed our own people, if we are unable to take care of the health of our own legal people, if we are unable to provide proper schooling for the poor South Africans, how then can we be expected to take care of the entire world? The 8 billion people of this world can come to this country. We're the only country on earth that is allowing really what I would call this nonsense of open borders and allowing our constitution to say people can come here, whether they're illegal or not, we must take care of them. So yes, we need the money, but we need the constitution that can speak to the lived experience of South Africans, because this problem doesn't only require us to throw money at it. Yes, you can throw money, we can give them 11,000 whatever management people. At the end of the day, people will find their way to come into this country because the constitution will immediately protect them as soon as they land in our country. So we've got to make sure that whether you came here legally or not, or if you come here legally, we have the constitution to protect the interest of South Africans. We must put South Africans first. Anyone who's in this country illegally must be sent back where they came from.
All right.
But at the same time, those who want to come to South Africa, like when I have to really go to most countries in the world before they can give me a visa, when I get to even before they can accept me to really come for an interview for a visa, I have to produce a medical cover. Why then should South Africa, the country, the most unequal on earth, we are the most unequal country on earth. As I said to you earlier on, Goli, over 50% of our fellow South Africans, as I'm talking to you right now, they don't know where their next meal is going to come from.
Yeah. Mr. Mashaba, thank you very much for your time, as always.